Goes out against Dale Veasey. And might just say the comments that Ole brought up regarding videotaping matches around the country. I think you're going to find it most interesting. We'll be talking about that a little bit more later on in the program. Let me take a moment right now to say hi to Bill Bailey and Perry Thompson of Atlanta, Georgia, and appreciated meeting them just before we went on the air. They lock up collar and elbow once again, and it is Veasey with a good high hip toss on Brad Armstrong. Referee is Scrappy McGowan. High hip toss by Brad Armstrong. And so Veasey squaring up and looking rather carefully. They lock up collar and elbow once again. Ole, I understand that Ric Flair is not too happy about being forced to wrestle today.
Well, he just feels as the world's heavyweight champion that he has the right to dictate when and where he'll wrestle. And to a certain extent, that's absolutely correct. But every champion has an obligation, whether it be Brad Armstrong or Ronnie Garvin or even the Road Warriors, and of course that includes Ric Flair, any other champion, have an obligation to that championship and to of the people, of course. And in this case, Flair has promised. He's, yeah, I'm gonna. Well, this time, there's no way around it. He is definitely going to be wrestling Ronnie Garvin here on TV.
All right, it's Veasey keeping a toe hold now, and Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong back to his feet now. Armstrong trying to find a way around this. Very nice move by Armstrong. Flips Veasey back to the canvas once again. Very, very close to those ring ropes. Both men circling each other, watching carefully now. Getting set. They move in, collar and elbow. Spin under takedown by Brad Armstrong.
I want to just mention that as the people listen to the show today, we're going to be talking about some of that filming that's going to be taking place all around the country. In an effort, of course, to bring a great best of Georgia wrestling to everybody, and the fans all over the world, I'm sure, are going to be interested in knowing when filming will be taking place in their areas. So that's why it's important to be listening, because a little later on in the show, we're going to be talking about where this first great taping will be taking place, and people can be a part of it because they'll have a chance to meet you, Gordon, to be interviewed by you, to see themselves on TV. It should be an exciting addition to World Championship Wrestling.
No question about that, and we're certainly looking forward to it, and looking forward to meeting a lot of you folks personally. Once again, they circle each other. Brad Armstrong being somewhat cautious. Good drop toe hold. Float up on the body, and now hooks that near arm. Chicken wings it, as a matter of fact. And so Veasey has his problems now.
Well, Veasey's a good wrestler, well built. We've seen him so many times. Had injuries several months ago. He's come back. He's not quite 100% yet, but you can see the potential that exists with a young man like Dale Veasey. He's going to be a great one.
He is indeed. And speaking about some great ones too, we certainly want to congratulate the Riverdale Royals, who are here today. They have an undefeated record of 15 wins and 0 losses and no ties in the 7- and 8-year-old division in Little League. They'll be the host team for the tournament coming up very shortly. So our congratulations to the Riverdale Royals. And now Veasey keeps that armbar on Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong breaks that up very nicely, has Veasey back to the canvas.
Well, they're really just trading off. Whoever seems to have the upper hand for the moment is the one that ends up with that arm. I think that they both might be better suited to get in just a little bit different position. Right now, Veasey's maneuvering for position again.
Armstrong, the little more aggressive of the two, and that might be that Veasey perhaps doesn't have all of that total confidence back yet.
Well, you know, it takes a lot of time to get out of shape. You're talking about a couple of weeks. To get back into shape, you're talking a whole lot longer, especially for wrestling. And you have to be at 100% to be able to go in there and wrestle effectively. And in particular, when you're going against somebody as good as Brad Armstrong, you need to be 100%.
No question about that. A good fireman carry takedown by Brad Armstrong just a moment ago to an underarm bar at this point in time. Veasey, good single leg pickup. Veasey back to the basics once again. Now scissors the near leg on Brad Armstrong. And so Veasey apparently now deciding to go for the lower body and take away a point of attack and a point of balance, namely that left leg.
Well, you know, there I would consider it to be possibly an error on Veasey's part, because rather than switching from one body part to the other, I think he would have been better suited to stay with that arm. He just had to learn or be concentrating a little bit more on how to keep that arm.
Good point, and it is Brad Armstrong slipping away from it, favoring that left leg slightly, but moves in very quickly. Good vertical takedown there, and Veasey powers out before the count. But Brad Armstrong very much the aggressor here. Hip lock takedown has Veasey back to the canvas.
You see there, I'd point out what I'm saying. Brad Armstrong used a couple of different moves, took him over in a headlock, but then, like what I would consider to be good wrestling, he went right back to that arm again. He didn't go to another body part. He stayed with that arm, and I think that's going to make the difference.
No question about that, and it is Brad Armstrong now keeping Dale Veasey at odds here. Veasey, that's an open hand. Open hand into the side, under the rib cage. And now Veasey, using that powerful upper body, gets a full bear hug on Brad Armstrong. And he may begin to take the edge here on Armstrong. See what happens. Now Brad Armstrong retaliates. Veasey back into that turnbuckle. Reversal by Veasey, but Brad Armstrong up and over after him, and now Veasey quick to take advantage of that situation. Full body slam now by Dale Veasey. Veasey with a near fall on Brad Armstrong. Aha, Brad Armstrong staggered him that time. A Russian leg sweep by Armstrong. Hooks the far leg and scores the pinfall. A fine victory. We'll take another look at that. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Brad Armstrong really moving well. There he was one step ahead of his man. And that staggered Veasey backwards. Now watch him hook into the Russian leg sweep. Very quickly a float over. Hooks that far leg, has the lateral press and scores the